Velma popularity spikes by 127% despite overwhelmingly negative reviews.
Guess who you can blame for this?
Us!
It's
us!
We are the problem!
We're the bad
Let's
guys!
Go.
Oh, actually, let's see. What is
I didn't watch it, so
yes,
I'm
it's
not
our
taking
fault.
any
Okay, blame Brett and I, not John. Okay?
It's our fault.
We are the problem. It's our fault. Come at me. I hate watching Velma. But I do believe we get a special pass.
Because we're reviewing it.
We're reviewing it.
So you're not really
Obviously, our
hate-watching.
job.
Yeah.
We're not hate watching just to hate watch out of like a morbid curiosity. And I've seen some people comment like, because you are reviewing this, I get to listen to your opinions about it instead of forcing myself to look at it.
So the show has a 37.3% higher viewership than an average HBO Max series. Another thing that they don't point out in this article very suspiciously is HBO Max very conveniently got rid of most of their animated movies and shows like right before this came out. So they're going to starve you for content and then leave you with nothing but Velma to watch.
Do people really specifically seek out animated shows?
Yes.
Only?
Huge market.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about only, but like, and the funny thing is as far as DC animated, which is the only animated stuff that I watch, that's what I go to HBO.
You don't watch
Max.
any anime?
Nope.
That's the thing. Like,
No.
do you?
Yeah. I mean, I was Gundam Info. I've been watching the new Mobile Suit Gundam on YouTube when they let the episodes come up because they private them a lot.
Well, when it comes to Western animation that is geared toward adults at this point, it's just all trash.
There's actually some pretty good ones. Like Arcane was really good. The League of Legends series on Netflix.
I've heard Castlevania is really good.
Castlevania, I liked the first season of Castlevania, and I didn't like anything after that. But Castlevania is a different story. I mean, that's a Western with Japanese animation.
But even now, like even DC, like I love the old animated shows.
The old
I don't
animation's
watch any. Like I tried to watch the new Green Lantern one, and it's horrible. Which is funny because I love the actor.
Oh, the movie you mean?
The Green Lantern animated movie.
Because the series is fantastic.
The movie. Like
the movie's
I have a
good.
soft spot for the older movies too. Like
I turned it off.
And the shows. Like in the voice actor, they had Shamar Moore doing the voice acting for that. And Shamar Moore is a great like actual actor. He's not a voice actor by trade only. He does a lot of regular acting as well. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, most of the new DC animated stuff, I don't really like the animation at all, and it really like turns me off. Even stuff that like I actually like the stories from the comics. I can blank on it now, but there's this Batman set in like the 19th century, and they just
Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah, Gotham by
Gaslight was good.
The story's actually really good, but I did not like the animation at all.
It was really brown and gray.
And
I get why they did that.
It also didn't feel dynamic. It felt very static. Like I don't know. I didn't like it. It didn't come onto the screen very well.
My actual favorite in recent years is Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I haven't seen that. I read the comics.
That?
The comics
Just a
are
couple years
fantastic.
ago.
I love the comics.
Yeah.
Really good. That's actually a really cool crossover.
It's a very weird.
Watch the show,
it's a very weird thing to see what they did, but it works. It works really well.
The first thing I thought of was the Harley Quinn animated series.
Yeah. People love that too. That's still
certain type of people like that.
Yes, but that's
there's a lot of people that don't like that either.
But it's enough to get like a second season. And I think they're going into a third season.
Do you know if it was any good?
I mean, I don't like that type of humor, so that's my personal opinion.
Well, some people are saying that it's the same type of humor that is used in Velma.
I would say I haven't seen Velma, so I can't really comment on that. But it looks very similar. It looks like it's coming from like kind of that same point, like reference point. That's probably inaccurate.
I think that animation style is cringy, looks horrible.
It looks sleazy to me.
It's very low effort.
Yeah.
The other reason to question...
It looks better than the Cal Arts stuff, though, at least.
Yeah.
I think the Harley Quinn animation is better than the Velma stuff from what I've seen on like trailers and everything.
I mean, when I think of adults watching Western cartoons, what comes to my mind is like BoJack Horseman... Rick and Morty,
Family Guy,
Simpsons. Yeah, and like, but also Steven Universe,
South Park.
Steven Universe is like the start of a lot of the fandom crap.
That's the Cal Arts stuff. Yeah, that's horrible.
Okay, so the other thing about this article is that they use Parrot Analytics, which is dubious at best. They count social media engagement as like a metric for like popularity.
Well, that's That's definitely
that does not mean that
part
it got
of
viewed. That does not mean it got viewed more. And I'll give you an example. I got a message earlier from a friend of mine who knows nothing about the culture war, knows nothing about any of this. All he sent me was a meme from Velma about how bad it is. He goes, I know nothing about this except that everybody hates it. That doesn't mean that it's popular, and it doesn't mean that he's going to go to HBO Max and watch it. It just means he shared a meme.
Right, and you have to define what popularity means. Yeah. Is it popular in the sense that it's actually like people like it, or is it popular in the sense that people like hate it and are ridiculing it? And then at the same time, I actually think a lot of these companies are moving away. You're seeing it in the Disney fight now with the investor who's trying to get on the board of Disney, and he's fighting against Iger. He wants to have Disney start focusing on profitability over everything else, and they're going to stop looking at these metrics like how it's doing on social media to determine whether or not that this product is actually generating revenue for them on the HBO Max.
They don't even understand social media enough to use it as a metric anyway. Like, would you
Morbid
say that
time.
demand for Morbius was determined by how many memes people were posting of it? No, people were trashing it through the memes.
Old people.
All
were
of the
those memes
conversation
actually
about
generating
Velma,
revenue?
Yeah, like all of the viral content about Velma has been derogatory.
Right.
So that doesn't count as demand. But I am saying, like, if I were some kind of like SEO expert, then it would be maybe a metric by like how many people search where to watch Velma, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, if people are just posting memes or using it as a TikTok sound, that doesn't mean there's more demand for it.
Well,
if I'm David Zaslav and I'm the head of Warner Brothers Discovery, I'm actually looking at what new subscribers are and what was the first thing they watched. Were they watching Velma? Then maybe that like we're generating revenue there. And then obviously you would look at views and potentially watch time to see like if people are coming back. Yeah. And then maybe looking at like, all right, how many have we lost from this?
But they're so episode? Shady. They always hide these real numbers from us so that we can't talk about it honestly.
If you've been following anything with the comic book stuff, we actually used to have really good numbers on what the comic book publishers were selling to Diamond, so we knew what they were selling to the distributor. We didn't know retail sales, but since the pandemic, we have like absolutely no idea what any of the sales are anymore. Yep. It's basically just the guy who runs Comic-Con predicting it.
It's deliberate.
It's deliberate. They want to hide that, but I mean, you still see it in their reports, though. You're seeing it in general reports where they're saying they're losing like $1.5 billion loss
but
in a quarter.
They sugarcoat it for the investors, right?
Well, they try to, but I mean,
Disney Plus is like, of course, a categorical loss.
But he's talking about comics, which are even bigger. Like they're an even smaller loss because it's such a write. It's a write off.
A bigger loss or a smaller loss?
It's a smaller. It's a
smaller loss in general because it's a tiny part of their business.
It's a rounding error compared to the streaming service and stuff. It's always funny listening to Zach trash Heidi McDonald.
Oh yeah,
she's Comic Speed. Yeah, like because Comic Speed is awful. And the thing is, they get away with all of this because the mainstream comics press runs cover for them, and they're like, it's fine. There's no problem here. So what if half of our creators have to do GoFundMe's to pay their rent?
Yeah, it's easier to corrupt and hijack a smaller niche part of an industry than the whole thing.
But I do think like you're seeing this come to fruit now. I mean, you're seeing this in Disney, you're seeing it in Warner Brothers. The like these activist investors like Zaslav, they're actually like they're focusing on profitability over stock price share now because the actual stockholders, like their investors, want to see the company start making money instead of just like constantly investing in something that might never actually turn a profit.
Yeah.
When was the last time they actually turned a profit?
Like, is it realistic that Disney Plus will be profitable at some point?
Will
they just keep reinvesting?
I think Zaslav said 2024 for HBO Max. Yeah. And that seems like a very, very big ask to me.
Well, that's also with him cutting a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he's trying to get like $3.5 billion worth of cuts from the entire company. So, and I haven't heard anything from Disney about like trying to actually like cut costs. So.
I don't know, man.
Sorry, we're totally getting in the weeds
I'm thinking about Amazon Prime right now.
Yeah.
Like, is Amazon Prime to Amazon as a corporation the same thing as like the comic books division of Warner Media?
Yes, it's a write-off.
That's exactly analogous. It's a write-off. So that's why they just throw shit at the wall over there at Amazon Prime.
Yeah, their business is selling you goods through Amazon rather than
That's why they have that.
That's why they made Rings of Power.
But they also have MGM Studio now, which they're kind of spinning off. So we'll see what happens with that because they bought MGM for what $8 billion or something like that.
Every time I go, I don't use Amazon Prime as much as possible because I hate the player. I hate the UI.
It's pretty bad.
Not for ethical reasons. It's just difficult to use.
But more than anything,
you're like the player. I'm like, I thought you were making a reference to like
the
guy playing the game, and then you're talking about
forward,
and then you said UI. I was like, oh, okay, I'm on you now.
Yeah.
And every time I go on there and all of the James Bond movies aren't down there, I just get angry.
Yeah.
Because you bought MGM, you own James Bond now. Essentially, you own the rights to the movies.
Right.
Like, put the movies on there.
So I actually think this is something that we're like Sony's doing. You see Paramount doing it. They're still licensing their films, which Disney literally stopped doing. I think actually Warner Brothers is still doing it as well. Disney's like the only one who literally pulled all of their movies, and you can only get them on Disney Plus now.
Yeah.
You can get all the Lord of the Rings movies on Amazon, even though that's owned by Warner Brothers.
Right, because they're licensing it out. Yep. And it's the same, like Bullet Train is on Netflix, and that's a Sony. I think that's Sony. So they're still doing that, whereas like Disney cut off their nose to spite their face.
Yep.
And they put all their eggs in the Disney Plus basket, and we'll see what happens. But it's not looking good right now.
I don't like it, and I don't like Disney Plus.
The Amazon UI sucks. I agree.
See,
even the search function is terrible.
I've started a movement, ladies and gentlemen, down at the funny thing is too, because I want to start doing this is an idea here. So for the chat, one thing I want to consider doing, I just tested the function last night. I want to maybe do once a month, see if people in the chat, like people who watch the show, want to do like an Amazon Prime watch party for a movie. We would have
Twitch?
You can do it on Amazon Prime, and then there's literally like a chat function in there so people can watch it from their own devices.
Oh, okay.
And then so the idea would be
why haven't more streaming platforms like hopped on that?
I know, like as soon as I was looking into it last night, because
there's probably some copyright issues and stuff like that if you try and stream it on YouTube or whatever.
So the idea, guys, would be that I would once a month I would pick out a movie, and then we would have to find a way to get the link disseminated to everyone. Like, I don't know if you want to just post that into like to the company Twitter, or like to the podcast Twitter or something like that. And say, look, if you have an Amazon Prime account and you want to join this watch party, we're going to be doing this at this time, this night, and then we could all. I went and I started watching a bunch of old movies last night. And I'm like, it would be fun to watch New Jack City, or to watch Above the Rim with a bunch of people on that watch the podcast.
Well, remember when Rabbit was a thing? They like shut down. That was exactly what the platform was for. Is like watch parties essentially, and then it just tanked. I don't know what happened to it, and then something replaced it, but it never took off. I'm surprised more streaming platforms haven't done that.
I know Twitch like knocks people when they try and do stuff like that. So
I thought they allowed like Amazon,
because they're owned by Amazon
Prime,
right?
watch parties.
It just depends on the copyright of the film, probably.
If it's licensed by that requires way too much effort. You know.
Jacob Edler says a YouTube community page. Yeah, we could post it. I don't know if you can copy links out of there. Can you? You can.
Copy links? I put links in the.
But anyway, I want to ask the chat once again to like participate in the poll, because I want to know what you guys think. Are we contributing to the problem?
We're a little bit of the problem.
That is Velma. Are we part of the reason that a Velma season 2 may get made? Season 3 even. I don't know.
The poll's not referring to me because I haven't watched it.
And not referring to John. Just us. Because we've been putting out these reviews and you guys are like, wow, we're actually watching Brett's soul leave his body in real time. I feel like I'm a little bit more stoic about it, but it really does a number on you visibly.
I was just tired that day. I promise. I was just tired. I actually got a text from Andrew at like midnight, and he goes, have I been drinking too much? Because I don't think this episode is that bad. I'm like, just keep watching. And he's just like, oh, it got way worse.
Yeah.
So I don't know, guys. It's I like the idea of doing watch parties for stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
we could hate watch together.
Maybe we could stream it if we're just streaming us and not the content itself.
You probably wouldn't be able to do it for Velma because Warner Brothers would probably be not happy that you're sharing their paywalled content to people.
Well, so, like at the very least, like it's very cool to be able to watch the same thing and then
Yeah,
be
if
in the
Amazon
chat
has
together.
something where you can do it through them, I wouldn't think that there probably isn't a problem with that.
Yeah.
Some people are really mad, and then some people are saying like, no, you are helping a lot of people not watch by reviewing
True.
it.
That's
I agree with that
my
too.
I don't know.
that's my really good rationalization for it is. And
I would never watch it if we weren't reviewing it.
I am not the hate watcher. I am not a hate watcher in the real world. I watch nothing but old stuff most of the time.
Do you know anyone who actually like hate watches a show?
No.
For fun?
No.
Just like hate, like
They exist.
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing.
Seemingly they do, but I've never met one.
Like last night, I'm like, I can watch reruns of Fringe. That's fine.
Yeah.
Even if I say I'm hate watching something, I'm really not. I just dislike it in theory, but I actually have it as like a guilty pleasure, so I don't actually hate anything.
See, yeah,
that
like
I stick to, you know?
I have plenty. See, I don't even know about if you should call things guilty pleasures. If you love something, just own it.
Yeah.
No, I was like for instance, I admitted on here I watched a bunch of seasons of Drag Race. Like
RuPaul's Drag
that,
Race.
I did that, and I'm gonna admit that openly. I did that. I don't agree with it. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was entertaining. And I didn't hate watch it because obviously you have to like something a little bit to watch it. Maybe hate watchers are just in denial.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to listen to Nickelback, but that's because I liked it. I didn't.
Yeah,
There you go.
if you're hate
listening 'cause
watching
I
something or
hated
hate
Nickelback.
listening something, there's something about it that you like.
Probably
That's bringing you back.
The for me, it's like if I was to take cover, it would be like admitting I love old NCIS. Like, oh, I hate watching. No, I just love it.
I
don't
like
care.
the cop serial dramas. There's a reason why people like them because they work, and there's inherent things about like we want justice as well as watchers and stuff like that.
I love the propaganda.
I don't think there's anything. I like that stuff too.
Someone said, "Yes, I hate watch y'all." I knew it.
See, hey,
I was on to you.
Look,
Thompson.
If you're hate watching us, that's like weirdly a compliment to me.
No,
like
I'm sure they're joking, but if you're not joking, I still think that's hilarious.
Like if somebody was hate watching me, I'm like, dude, I don't even like hate watch. Like I barely watch myself. Like you guys have no idea. Like when I have to edit the show, I'm like not looking at myself.
Or if I play something back, Brett is like, headphones.
Yes. No for me. It's good stuff.
Editing your own stuff is tough.
Yeah, it is. It's weird.
Because you're just like, man, I could have done something way better.
Well, for me, it's because my brain very rarely catches up to my mouth and my mouth moves too fast and not well. A lot of times I'm like, maybe I could edit out all of these ahs, likes.
Is there a
and
software for that?
Yeah.
I actually got really good at just like when I was recording recording long form videos, I would just stop and like pause when I like couldn't like form my thought like quick enough, and so I could just easily edit out that like dead space and then continue going on. So I would just like stop talking, formulate my thought, and then continue.
It's the group environment that does it to me, because I used to do what are called audio-ons for my Instagram, which is I would film skating edits and then I would record voiceover for it, talking about either the trick that I was doing in the clip, or if it was a full day of skating, I would talk about what happened at each spot as I was doing the tricks. And I could do those whole monologues without one but it's like when you're in a room here and you want to get your point in, a lot of the does and the ahs are kind of placeholders because you want to keep your point going.
Yeah.
So it's more of like it's a moment of independent panic.
And a lot of times you don't even notice you're doing it. It's just like a habit.
Until somebody comes in the comments section is like, listen to these idiots who don't know how to talk, who didn't go to radio school. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.